Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue our exploration of well-wishing expressions in Chinese. And today is a fun expression that is tied with dating behavior. Well, in today's lingo, we call it dating, but Chinese expression, we say it 桃花朵朵开, as if we have a lot of luck in dating. And Chinese often use 桃花运. It's like your luck about dating. And I guess mostly it talks from the perspective of man. Like if you can be approached by girls, like if you can attract the opposite gender. So 桃花朵朵开. I think later on some artists turn it into the title of a song to emphasize that somebody got lucky to have multiple, because when we say 朵朵, again, here is a repetition of the exact same Chinese character, one after another, and you can see the multitudes of it. It's not just one singular, it's multiple. And by two, repeated by twice, is enough to say it's not singular. Okay. 桃花朵朵开, it's almost like you're in a position of choices. You have options because at least there are two of them there, right? I guess this well-wishing probably is can be popular with people who are in the mindset to look for partners. Okay, 桃花, 桃花 is peach blossom. Peach, this 桃 is made of the tree symbol on the left side, the canopy of the tree, the root of the tree connected on the trunk. The right side is the pattern. It almost like, okay, it almost looks like the neck of a vessel. Imagine porcelain, I guess. And then the two dots on the side is kind of a hand holding that thing. And then there's this slanted stroke in between this hyperbola shape of curves. And that shows some cracks in there. So the whole thing is showing the cracky pattern of some ancient utensils, could made of porcelain or clay that you're holding in hand. So this cracking pattern paired with tree symbol to define what peach looks like. Because on peach, there are irregular patterns that is not, if you go to grocery store, pick up a peach over there, every peach looks different. The patterns on the peach that's showing on, I guess it's a pink color versus the beige color, the ground color. Every peach will have their own blotches of this pinky over the beige color. This two color tone at least. Pattern looks different, and because it's irregular, it's unpredictable, so Chinese use this cracking on the utensil to show the irregular patterns shown on the peach. Okay, blossom, this trident looking thing, two of them, is the plant symbol in general. So if this is tree symbol, that emphasizes it has a deep root and it has a trunk. So that distinguishes it from just a regular plant. It's a tree. And here is not saying, is it a tree or else? So else, okay. So these trident shape simply is something growing on the ground, and because they have to face the sun, right? Trying to get more sunlight, that's mostly how plants grow, and using two of them to mean multitudes of them, right? And that symbolize any kind of plant that could be not be in the tree form, but any form. And in this case, it paired with, okay, this shape, two layers. It only used two layers, but it means multiple layers, right? Again, this pattern of showing you two of some things to mean multitudes. So this symbolize layers of petals on the flower. So we're really zoom in on the flower structure itself. And this is the pollen pole kind of sticking out like that. And then the bottom is actually the pronunciation of the speaking function. So this is puff of air going out from the blocker. Your mouth symbol forms the blocking of the airflow. That's how you make sound. So this articulation expressed by this puff of air and the blocker. And now this horizontal line could be part of the bottom symbol or the part of the top symbol. If it's part of the top symbol, that means something where the pollen pole is connected to, and it's like the base of the flower with petals, right? So basically the top give you the sense of it's a plant, and it zoom in into the floral, the flower, the petals of the flower, the pollen poles, to emphasize the reproductive function of the flower, right? And this puff of air, if it's connected with a puff of air symbol, sometimes the two icons glue together and they overlap on some part of it. So I noticed that economy, or this way to integrate different otherwise independent icons and to glue them together, so to speak, by sharing the same stroke. So if it's shared, if you view it with the bottom of the symbol, which is the speaking articulation process, and then this symbol would mean the top of the sky, because we're only looking at the bottom. And when we're looking at the bottom, this becomes its own unit, and then this would be considered the top of the frame, which when a horizontal line occur on the top of the frame, that normally means the sky is the limit. That's visible spatial limit of us. So that gives you articulation under the sky limit, to give you the sense of your voice are going out to the world in a wide open under the sky. Okay, so either way, this speaking function paired with this flower, this plant-based petal, multiple layer petal flower zoom in, together, it means bloom. So I guess language creators try to give it a sense of flower is almost like the language, the speaking of the plant. It's telling the world I'm ready to reproduce. So whatever is, I guess, bees or birds attracted to the petals or the fragrance of the flower will come over to do this pollination process for the flower to pass on the genes to the next generation. And so in this sense, it's the speaking, the articulation of the plant. It's blooming time. It's sending the world the message. Okay, so that's blooming. Peach bloom together is a Chinese symbol to mean somebody's luck in the romance department. And I didn't really know where to come from, but this expression is so common in Chinese. I almost never think about it. But now when I'm trying to explain to the English speaker, I have to make sense for you why, in particular, this peach blossom is a thing. Probably because peach blossom in the season of spring, of course, right? And it's kind of a tender colored, right? It's not bright. It's not the peach flower. Okay, in the next page, I'm showing you, this is the peach flower. It's kind of a small petal, but with multiple layers, right? It's it definitely sends a message of blooming. And it's a cluster. It comes in a cluster, like a multitudes of them on the tree trunk. So before the leaves grow, the flowers come out first. So they are on the stalk branches, blooming first. And they are the harbingers of spring. When you see peach blossom, that's like the early or the pre-peak time of spring. And that's the time when, in English, we have spring fever, right? So similar observation in Chinese culture. That's the time when humans ourselves are feeling our animalistic instinct to go out and seek our mates. And because of the cultural confinement, I mean, girls are not free to, to meet people, strangers. But I guess this 桃花 actually probably is a contemporary expression than ancient ones, because ancient times girls definitely, they don't, regardless of season, they only have like certain holidays girls can go to the public to interact with strangers. But in contemporary, probably this, I'm guessing it could be coming from Taiwan because they're more open-minded and then the mainlanders, and they came up with expressions to make as part of entertainment, to express a certain phenomenon. And just like spring fever, 桃花 was then associated with this, heightened seasonal sense of mating, mate seeking. And I guess that applies to both genders. And probably that's the season, which is the early springtime, that romance occur more frequently than other times. And as a well-wishing to somebody, you want to wish them to have more, like multitudes of flowers. They meet more peach blossoms, meaning they have more romantic encounters. They have more luck in such encounter, that their chances of finding a good partner is heightened, is increased. Okay, 朵朵 is a Chinese flower bloom count. Because, okay, Chinese language that have to describe every noun, every countable noun with a unit of measurement. So I find that amazing, because English may not describe flower, or may not count flower. I cannot even come up with a word of the English expression to count the unit of flower. I know we have bulbs, but that's a particular shape of flower that's not non-bloom. But how are we going to count the blooms? So Chinese use 朵朵, and Chinese use this same 朵 as the unit of measurement for cloud. So I guess I translate as a puff because it's kind of spreading out. It's just in the shape of bloom. Both flower and cloud, they can look similar in their expression of spatial expression, right? It's kind of puffed out. So Chinese use 朵 in both situations. So I guess unit of measurement actually is shape appropriate. We apply a certain unit of measurement according to the shape of things we're trying to define, trying to count, right? So 朵 is this puff image, and you see the 朵 also made of this tree symbol. It looks similar, but because this tree symbol then is placed at the bottom of this frame, therefore it kind of squashed. It looks proportionally different, but structurally the same. Canopy, root, trunk, right? So that comes from the tree. And then on the top, there is this, well, I would imagine that it's almost like a whip with probably some either wood or metal piece attached to the very end of the whip. So when you whip it, it has more force to hit on things. And I would imagine that's when it's harvest time, you whip on the tree to have the fruit drop down. I don't exactly know, but according to scholars, this was placed on top of the tree, like on the canopy of the tree, almost to mimic the shape of the flowers, the blooms on top of the canopy of the tree. So I don't know, two versions, because I've seen this icon paired in other contexts with other icons, and it means kind of whip with a force, but it didn't came with a hand. Normally it came with the hand symbol, that somebody is holding that whip. But in this case, it's placed on top of the tree. So maybe there are this it's a 2D frame, right? So it could be overlapping. It actually expressed different things, but they happen to look the same. So it's hard to tell in this case. But in any case, this means flower. And you can see from the structure, it's something puffing on top of the canopy of the tree. 开 Chinese use open to mean the flower blooming process, to mean the petal spreading process. But this icon actually was originally used and created, expressed in the door opening process. You can see it's a 2-panel door. It's symmetrical looking, kind of like this. So these sides are hinged onto the door frame, right? And here is the panel, and you're going to open like this. But ancient times, before the invention of locks, the doors were locked by these latches. This structure, this horizontal line, is supposed to, going through something fixed on the door so that you cannot open the 2-panel because they are connected by this latch. And you see the 3-finger hand symbol with the armrest showing a little bit, reaching out to the latch. That means it's reaching out to it for the only purpose of removing the latch, open the door. So this is a concrete way of ancient door opening procedure. And from door opening, it means petal open, and it means bloom in this context. So 桃花朵朵开 is a Chinese expression to wish somebody have luck in the romantic encounter. And you can see here, I'm showing you a frame that somebody, the expression of 桃花 using other contexts with other characters, but means the same thing. 桃花开, so same 开, okay? When peach start to bloom, 春心漾, Chinese actually use spring heart, the heart of spring, to note down that's the the mating urge, kind of like a spring fever thing, right? So we use spring heart. Yang is as if it's water rippling, so you definitely feel that, I guess, chemical wash inside your veins to feel that you have the heightened sense of you're trying to seek out your mate in the time, in the season when the peach blossoms. All right, that's Chinese expression, 桃花朵朵开. Catching to the currency of thinking by one word a day. See you next.